Hi, folks. Elaine Marolakos Edelson here with AstrologyMojo. Want to help you get your mojo back. Welcome. It's Saturday, and I don't typically show up on a Saturday, but we had a blizzard here in Sedona. Well, it lasted like 2 days, and then it was done. And then it's all melted. It's all gone. Little bits here and there, little patches. But anyway, come join me, say hello. We're going to be talking about the Mercury in retrograde in Aquarius. And the full moon in Leo that just passed, it was on the 28th. But the combination, has a little bit of a push-pull on you. And I have to change something in my system preferences because it's looking a little wonky. So come say hello to me. How are you today? What's going on? What's the news, Mr. Potter? What's the news? Hey, Vicky's here. Hi. Hello. So behind me, what you see is Courthouse. That's Courthouse Rock in Sedona. That's a couple blocks away from me. So I'm going to be talking about the sun, rising, and moon for each of the signs. But before we get into that, I just want to give some brief definitions in case you're new to my show and you're new to astrology, or you're ready for an upgraded definition of some things. And that is that in astrology, the planets, look it from my watch, the planets don't make you do anything. Because we live in a cooperation. So when the planets make a move, you feel it. When you make a move, the planets reflect that by way of aspects and angles in astrology. The planets are not conscious of their movements. However, every single thing that exists affects you because you are a sentient being. So whether it's on planet, off planet, basically astrology tells you what time it is. And it is time for us to talk about what that rebel in you, that part of you that is too stubborn. Aquarius is, excuse me. Scusate. Aquarius, and that's the length of my Italian. Aquarius is guided by Uranus and represents eclectic matters, represents innovation, technology, science, space, astrology, music, vibration, electrical input in the body. And on the downside, it's anarchy, rebelliousness, it's erratic behavior, it's out of the blue, wacky, but it's humanitarian. And it's about community overall. Hey, Christine, made it live. Hooray. And so when Mercury, which represents the way you perceive your beliefs, your experiences that create beliefs, the synapses that form, that anchor those beliefs into a pattern and then a habit. I'm just going to keep doing this because you catch my drift. You get my meaning. Mercury, it represents the way you think and how you express. Now, when Mercury is retrograde, it means that from the point of view of Earth, the planet appears to be moving backwards because we are traveling around the sun on the ecliptic in a certain way, and Mercury has changed its rotation. That's all. So it looks like it's moving backwards. It's like if two airplanes were in the sky at the same time and one was further away and one was closer, but they're traveling at the same speed. It's going to look like the one that's further away is going backwards. That's how that works. Okay, so now we've got Mercury in Aquarius, retrograde, January 30th, 2021 to February 20th, 2021. We add 10 days to 14 days on either side. That's called the shadow phase when the rotation spins on its axis differently. And so, but what happens with us is that our perception is altered. So I'm going to go through each of the signs. I'm just pulling a card just for a focus for the beginning, because I have to say, Mercury in retrograde in Aquarius is one of the more wacky, more profound experiences for me, because I have a Leo moon. So you have to see what it is for you, of course. But I find in general that because it's, Aquarius energy can be likened to Spock, fascinating. Where you might say, not too emotional about that. I'm really detached from that, and I'm not really connected to that. I don't know what that is. Or it's so stubbornly attached to one way of being that when the planet, goes retrograde in astrology, what it represents for you is your ability or inability to see what's working, what's not working, and what the direction needs to be so that you can get what you want in life. And, some people might say that, well, basically, Aquarius is the future. That's it. The Aquarius is the future. And in the Leo full moon that we just had, we're still under the energy of, wow, packed a punch for me. And the two energies now combined to shed light on something internally. It may be represented externally by something, because that's how life works. Every single reality, every single person has a different reality. And so if I came to you and I said, oh yeah, I used to ride my bike when I was a kid, and little creatures flew with me. And then when I got older, I realized they were called fairies. And you might go, you were just a kid. Come on, there's no such thing. But in my reality, yeah, they exist. And I have my own experience with that. Now, other people who might also say, oh yeah, I believe in fairies, but this is my experience, right? It's going to be different. So when you look in the mirror at your perspective at what you're doing and what it feels like, and then you say, I've been trying to get this job, or this relationship isn't working out for me, or I really need to learn the computer better. I know some Aquarians who just refuse. They're so far left afield of technology that it's a hard learning curve. That's the stubborn refusal part. So if you find, and it doesn't matter if you're Aquarius, sun, rising, or moon, but if you find yourself feeling really stubborn these days, or the exact opposite of, oh my gosh, I just heard this podcast, or I heard this new musical group, and they're in a different country, and so it takes you out of the norm, the realm of what you perceive, what you believe, and it pushes your buttons on some level, because it might ask you to ask yourself, well, if you just heard it, you might have thought it was just created, or that you discovered it. It could be around for a million years. Oh, I just heard a sitar for the first time. And you're like, wow, what kind of sound is that, man? That's crazy. And then you realize there's a whole world that suddenly opens up. It's like the path. There's mist. That's why I picked this photograph. There's a pathway you're walking on, and suddenly the mist clears in an Aquarius retrograde, a Mercury retrograde. And there's something in front of you, like a brick wall, because it's stopping you. And this one just popped out of the deck, intensity. The intensity of the feeling is like, what? What just happened? Now, if you've been working on something, and we're going to go through each of the sun, rising, and moon signs, but just want to give a brief overview. If you've been working on something and you know where Aquarius is in your chart, because everyone has Aquarius in their chart, whether or not they have it in a personal planet, which would be Mercury, Venus, Mars, those are the personal planets, or an outer planet, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, and also Pluto. We include Pluto. You have it on the cusp of a chart. So let me just show you an example. Here is, where is the Screenshot. Ta-da! There it is. Okay, so this is today, January 30th, 2021, and there is the Mercury in retrograde. Oops, Mercury in retrograde in Aquarius. Now, this is not dependent on any particular rising sun or moon. This is just a general chart. So I just go by where the planets, what the planets are in, what sign they're in, and what configuration they have with each other. I don't like that. Okay, anyway, so by the time, want to start saying, by the time I get to Phoenix. Okay, by the time we get to February 11th or more closer to mid-month, wow, Brad, look at that. We're going to have Saturn, Jupiter, and Venus, Mercury in retrograde, Moon and Sun in Aquarius. Wow. So it's really going to highlight that part of you. Oh, see, that's what I was saying. Like, there's Aquarius. If you were a Taurus rising, you would have Aquarius on the cusp of your 10th house. Let me get to the other screenshot. If you were a Pisces rising, Aquarius would be on the cusp of your 11th house. So you have Aquarius in your chart, is what I'm saying. But by the time we get there to February 11th and mid-month, there's a whole lot of stuff happening, and it's going to be revolutionary, evolutionary. So it can mean that for you internally, because you're having an aha moment, and this precipitates the next aha moment, and then you can move to your level of intensity and what that's supposed to look like for you. But then in the outside world, it's, all right, let's see, we've got science working hard for vaccines. We've got new plans in place for travel and how to, work the community, what's happening next. There's new strains of things coming out aside from the medical world. There's also the travel industry, the technology. I just read the other day that there are 4 billionaires who are going to space. They hitched a ride. Hey, who read the story? I don't know if I talked about this on another show because I feel like I've been away so long. That one of the passengers that went to the ISS, a civilian passenger with a lot of cash, actually brought the remains of the actor who played Scotty in the original Star Trek, and left them on the ISS station, International Space Station. Left them there. I just want to cry. I thought that was beautiful. And then everyone who heard about it and thought, okay, that's so appropriate. Those space astronaut people, they're just so wacky, huh? They have their own thing going on. So talk to me. What's going on in your world? Christine says, you call them nature spirits. Yeah, and you made it live. So come talk to me. And we're talking about Mercury in retrograde in Aquarius and how through each of the sun, rising, and moon signs, it can really show you the parts of you that are ready to advance and upgrade your system. So a lot of you might be feeling, let me turn this off for a second. A lot of you might be feeling like you're downloading stuff, or you're really, really tired, or you can't explain the intent. I have to keep going back to this. The intensity of what you're feeling or what you're experiencing. It might be, you wake up, and when you wake up, that's the best time to reset everything about your world. When you wake up. And that is because you're starting fresh from a dream state. Now, if you've had a nightmare, if you've had any kind of intense astral travel, and you come back and you wake up and you're like, what the heck just happened to me? Then you're going to take all that information in, write it down, and get clear on that. But in general, when you wake up, it's the first 3 breaths of the morning. Focus on possibility, on joy, on excitement, on appreciation, on gratitude. That can set the whole day. Now, during the day, things might happen and, people hurl ideas, emotions, betrayals, whatever, their wounds on you. And you're thinking, hey, wait a minute. I was in a good mood this morning. What happened? Now, sometimes it's chemical and biochemical. So you might, be taking a medication that's no longer working or has side effects, or you might need to eat really good food that's good for you, not just because it says good for you on the box, but that it works for you. So this is a time during this Mercury in retrograde in Aquarius that you really need to get clear on tuning the dial and turning the frequency that works for you. Now, if you are an Aquarius sun, rising, or moon, things that you have been putting out into the world are going to come back at you, and you're going to have to start to think in new ways. For an example, my husband's an Aquarius moon, and a whole lot of work just got thrown his way. And he's organizing, I can do this, and I can schedule this. And then he went, wait a minute, I can hire out, because he has an assistant, virtual. I can see if they want to do it. I'm like, yeah, big thought, big idea, ta-da. So you're going to have little moments like that where suddenly it's like, whoa, I notice that every time I drink this thing, I get a stomach ache. Now I put it together. I'm no longer going to drink this thing. Ta-da, I could have had a V8 as my mountain drink. Does that make sense? All right, so let's start with Aries. Let me get my chart out here. I was looking at what's what. Okay, I need to look at one of these charts. Ba-ba-da-ba. I'm going to go with this one. So, Aries. We're looking at the 11th house for you, Aries, and Aries sun, rising, or moon. And with Uranus guiding the show in two places. Uranus is in Taurus, so for you that's your cash. That's your self-worth, feelings of self-worth and what you value. Also income. But with Uranus also representing Aquarius in the Mercury show, it deals with your community, the people you surround yourself with, and what you feel is appropriate, and who is in the picture that might need to leave. So if you're working with someone, if you're looking to work with someone, if you have friends or certain family members that are overstepping boundaries, or if they're overstepping boundaries, now is when, in a retrograde, especially a Mercury retrograde, I don't always recommend that you blurt anything out, Aries, sun, rising, or moon. But what's important is that you assess what the dynamics are of the relationship to the whole group, because it's an 11th house experience. And Aquarius naturally guides the 11th house in the general charts in astrology. So this is really about you tempering. You might be the mediator, Aries, sun, rising, or moon. You might be brought in to be the mediator by family, friends, and or associates. Now, this is also about your dreams coming true. So Aries, sun, rising, and moon, what do you really want? And let's use technology, space, astrology, science, outside the box thinking to really get that moving and generated. Okay, so let me just cross off on my list as I go along. And if you are a sun, rising, and moon of any of what I'm talking about, please chime in. Let me know that you're here. Taurus, sun, rising, and moon. Okay, not only do you have Aquarius via Uranus in your sign, and you are changing left and right, transforming whether you want to or not, babe. This is it. And last night I had a big sob. And I don't mean driving in a car. I mean, I had a big sob and just said to my husband, I need this to be over, this thing. I just need it. And he was like, I know. I'll make you some tea. I know. Okay, so Taurus, sun, rising, and moon. Look at this. By the middle of the month, This is all about career for you. Launching a product, having affiliates, working with your boss, working as the boss, working with new kinds of technology. And if it's new, I don't always recommend new technology in a Mercury in retrograde, but certainly put it out there in your mind, because your mind is going to create the matter that brings the attraction to you of, hey, I need to reach a larger audience, universe. How can I do that? Or, I really need to get some contracts in place. Universe, how can I do that? And then you get an email, random, it seems like random, from someone soliciting, saying, hey, let me show you these new templates you can use to get your business in order. Something like that, or friends and family will come to you and say, with all this Aquarius energy, it could be someone you work with. It could be, the past always shows up in a Mercury in retrograde, in any retrograde, but especially the past, so that you can review, renegotiate, renew, or release this information. So if you need to reestablish your criteria in business, you might be deciding to stop the part-time work and go full-time in this direction, Taurus, sun, rising, or moon. So you really have to be discerning about where to put your energy, and technology and or science, medicine, astrology, music, vibrational healing. That is definitely in the mix for everyone. But as a career, maybe you're using, like I am a Taurus sun sign, and I am using more and more frequencies like tuning forks, solfeggio tuning forks, to create healing vibes. It's subtle, but very effective. And also utilizing music and chanting, and more videos and podcasts, and thinking long-term about my career and where do I want to take astrology, aside from promoting, once we get it all together, promoting my astrology masterclass. So that's what I'm thinking. If you're a Taurus sun, rising, or moon, and you are at home with the kids, or you're retired, or you're single, you might be thinking, what's my next step in life? How do I concretize this thing? How do I make it real? Do I need a community? Do I need to learn and upgrade my systems? I'm going to say for every sign, yes is the answer. You're going to need to upgrade something. And I just want to check in, see if there's any more comments. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Christine, wow, I can't remember the last time I had a good cry. Aw. Well, I had one for you. So there it is. Okay, Gemini, sun, rising, or moon. With this lineup of Aquarius planets and the Mercury in retrograde, because you are a Gemini guided by Mercury, this is extra special for you. Ooh, what could it mean? Well, I would say that intensity goes for Aries and Taurus. That was the card I pulled for Aries and Taurus unknowingly. But for you, Gemini, sun, rising, and moon, the 9th house is all about contracts and where you want to go. It could be a confusing time if you feel like you have to stack your decisions, or I have 17 things to do and they all have to get done now. If you think like that, you're going to be in trouble. So Gemini, sun, rising, moon, what I would like to see you do is make columns and lists of things that are prioritized. What's the most important thing? And you might think, well, 9th house is contracts, right? Has to do with contracts, but also it's about higher philosophy. So if you're thinking, okay, I do this, I got to get that done, and I got to go over there and do that. Which one makes you feel, this is the bottom line, Gemini, sun, rising, and moon, and the easiest, what is that business? Stop that. Which one makes you feel the calmest or the most excited? Not the most scattered or harried or crazy, but which is the most exciting for you? That goes in the personal growth column. Then there's the actual business column. And I've got to return phone calls, emails, all the technology that comes into play. I have to learn how to use Instagram. I have to delete my account and it's been corrupted. I have to start over. So much is going to come up for everybody during this Mercury in retrograde, especially with technology. But Gemini, Sun, Rising, and Moon, pick and choose in columns what is most important for you. And you can label them emotional, personal growth, well-being, business, personal growth, business growth and well-being, and necessary upgrades. So that would be the more technical. It's like, oh yeah, I gotta get a new computer. I would not recommend in a Mercury in retrograde. Always get, if you have to, any kind of technology. Always get, make sure you save the receipts and you get the warranties and all that stuff. So if something goes wrong in a couple of months, you can extended warranty. You can have it fixed. Okay, but organizing those groups are really going to help you get to the next place that you want to be in. So I'll just pull a card for each of you. Even though Aries and Taurus both got the intensity card because you got a lot going on with Uranus and Mercury in retrograde. So this is for Gemini, Sun, Rising, and Moon with Mercury in retrograde. Oh, okay. Okay, repetition, you guys. So once you get the columns in order and you got your checklist, and do one from each column daily. And just rinse, lather, repetition. Okay. All right. Cancer, 8th house. Cancer, Sun, Rising, and Moon. This is going to deal a lot with your money and your partner. If you are married or have a business partner, your spouse, if they make an income, or maybe they're retired, and what does that look like? What does their retirement income look like? This is all about how do you organize the insurance matters, or if you have a business partner, who gets paid what are the dividends, what if there are returns, not on the investment, but on the product, and you have to pay back. You really have to have a really good monetary and financial system set up, Cancer, Sun, Rising, and Moon, to help you organize your cash flow and any amount of debt, credit cards, and dealing with your own plus your spouse's, or being involved in your business partners. For instance, my sister is a Cancer and she works with her husband, and he's getting close to retirement, so they're working that out on paper right now and seeing what that looks like and how to budget for the year. Same with my husband. He's a Cancer, and he also manages my business. So we're looking at what comes first, what are the priorities, what do we do with our cash, how are we investing right now, and then the underlying thing, and I would say it covers all the topics of the 8th house, Cancer, Sun, Rising, and Moon, which are death, sex, and taxes, is that any energy or joint resource that you share with another person, it needs to be upgraded now. So that can mean new contracts, just like in the 9th house, but a little different. This is more about finances and insurance and or estate planning. So if you're helping an elder to plan for the estate, or thinking about paying off their credit cards, or, this is all going to come up in this retrograde. And remember, the pre-phase started 2 weeks prior, and then it goes 2 weeks post February 20th. So that's what you need to be aware of. And also the energies that you share with someone. You need to be verbal about the things that don't feel good, Cancer, Sun, Rising, and Moon. Okay, Leo, we just had a full moon in your sign. So there was a sudden occurrence of something. I know a Leo who got suddenly sent to the emergency room. Another Leo rising that suddenly realized they can no longer take a certain kind of client on. Another Leo moon who went through a lot of energy work and then a tumultuous release. So Leo, Sun, Rising, and Moon, this is all about your partnerships. Marital partners first, And then what comes next? Hey, Casey's here, Gemini rising. Yay! Marital partners first, Leo, sun, rising, and moon. And okay, because of the Aquarian vibe in the 7th house, this is when they look at you and they say, you're just like Spock, or you look at them and say, fascinating, that behavior. Okay, yeah, I'm out the door right now. I got something else to do. So you need to come to terms and come together on what's most important for mutual desires. And during this time frame, something might be revealed to you that was withheld previously, and not malicious. Just like, I could have had a V8. Or Patrick Nagel had a poster once that said, with his retro woman, like looking frantic, oh my God, I can't believe I forgot to have children. It's going to be something a little left afield and a little startling for some of you. And it might be a declaration. Now, I always say any declaration that comes out in a Mercury in retrograde has been building since the last Mercury in retrograde. And really bite your tongue is what I want to say, Leo, sun, rising, or moon, because you're going to want to get dramatic about it and or final about it. And it doesn't have to be a negative thing. It can be, if you're not married, this can deal with a business partner or a client that you have or an associate that you're working on something with. A partnership isn't always 50-50 for 20 years. Sometimes you sit down over a cup of Java and you say, I need to work something out. Will you help me do this thing? And you work on a paper together, or you work on a solution together, or you work on some sort of collaboration that affects the both of you, of course, and then the community, because it's in Aquarius. So like in our town, there's a whole new looking for new candidates for the board members because of the stuff that just went on here. Okay. Yeah. A lot of disgruntled citizens. Hello, citizens. So Leo, sun, rising, and moon, working with other people right now in February, can be very healing. But you have to come from a place of, wait a minute, instead of getting defensive, like if you're a Leo and, your partner stubs your toe, steps on your toe or bumps into you and you drop something and you get hurt and you go, ow. And they go, well, it's not my fault. And you're like, whoa, this isn't about you. If I get hurt, I'm going to say, ow. I'm not saying I hate you. You're at fault. So there's going to be some miscommunication and defensive verbiage. We have to dampen that down. We have to come from a Zen point of view, especially in Aquarius, right? So now it's going to be like, oh, wait, when you said that thing just now, you didn't really mean, well, actually, what did you mean? So let's get clear on what you meant. And that's the kind of impetus to communicate with, because other than that, it can get, let your imagination go. Oh my goodness. Leo, so many things just flew out for you. And well, number one, 7th house deals with Libra, and their keyword is harmony. So let's get harmonious in our relationships by utilizing a mutual vision. Thank you, Leo, sun, rising, and moon, and focusing on your abundance. Okay, let's leave it at that. Great. Now, Virgo, sun, rising, and moon. The 6th house, first and foremost, with Aquarius there, if you need to get any kind, what is this business? I'm that magical. If you need to get any kind of medical, anything, intervention, appointment, I wouldn't go to a random medical appointment in a Mercury in retrograde. I just personally wouldn't. You might, and that's okay. Just make sure you do not distract the technician, the doctor, the nurses, anybody who is, doing anything, because things will get missed. That's all I'm saying. But if you had to go, Make sure you keep your paperwork in one place, your insurance and medical information, contact numbers. Just have it handy just in case. I'm not saying something terrible is going to happen. No, not at all. I'm just saying, it's like you have to drive yourself all the way to one hospital. It's closed because of the weather. And you go to another one. And then you realize, oh, I left my wallet at home. So you can't pay for, that ingrown toenail extraction or whatever. And you're like, oh, I should have just stayed home. It could go like that. So we don't want it to go like that. It can go like that at any time, but it's just a little bit more frustrating in a Mercury retrograde. So Virgo, sun, rising, and moon. First of all, pay attention to your health. If you're not feeling well, do your research. Do not focus on being a hypochondriac or, oh my gosh, I have that symptom. I must have that disease. No. But get informed. You can watch some of the Dr. Berg, B-E-R-G videos online. They're fascinating, amazing. He's got a wealth of information on anything, literally anything. So look him up. He's great. And I am going to pull you a card. There are no reverses in this deck, but I like to see all the cards upright, and they are mixed up. All right, so Virgo, sun, rising, and moon. With the sixth house, we're also looking at not just your health, but strategies for, if you have pets, they might need some intervention now if it's not you, medical intervention. So be aware of, who's open, what are the hours, what's the weather like, just be a little more, you're always practical, Virgo, sun, rising, and moon, but be less anal and more open to different procedural information. That deals with work as well, because the sixth house deals with three main topics, and that is your health, work practices, and small animals. So when we look at Aquarius being there, it could be a minor thing, like you've had it scheduled for months, and then they call up and then they say, oh, we have to reschedule, or you're thinking, yeah, I don't want to go because COVID's on the rise, or so you start changing all that information. But in a retrograde, it gets changed again. Just be open and not like, well, I called them and it should be done, So we want to watch judgments. Everyone wants to watch judgments in a Mercury in retrograde, because that's when they come up, and that's when you can turn around and look at yourself and go, why you gotta hate? Why are you being so rough on these people who work really hard, or huffing and puffing and standing in line somewhere? It's like, hey, let's use a little bit more compassion. Virgo, sun, rising, and moon, you might come across that, and you might be the facilitator. Maybe you're someone who's working with a client and they say, well, I wanted it yesterday. Didn't I tell you? And you're thinking, no, I would have written it down because I am that person. I have nerds. I have notes everywhere. I am that specific, but okay. The customer's always right, even when they're not. So there's times when you're going to want to hide, Virgo, sun, rising, and moon, from the world. Totally understandable. But what we want to see you do more of is utilize your really great disciplinarian organizational skills and clean up your desk, clean up your office, clean up the paperwork, clean up the kitchen, clean it up, clean it out, get really organized, because you're going to move some energy and wow, you're going to attract so much new stuff, especially with this Aquarius. Mercury in retrograde, you could get some sudden new job or sudden new assignment from your boss. Or if you are the boss, you might suddenly decide to hire, someone through Upwork or Elance or Fiverr, so you start to branch out and broaden where before you may not have trusted it. Now it's going to be, well, what is it that I don't trust? Virgo, sun, rising, and moon. Because when you don't trust something, you're going to set up a vibe that attracts mistrust. So you just have to work that out as it's happening and go, I'm going to give it a chance. But don't revert to all the negative statements. You just go, I'm going to give it a chance because things always work out for me. Time is always on my side. things always work out for me. What I say is Christmas always works out for me and every day is Christmas. So like that. Hey, Carlene's here. Okay, so hope that makes sense. Now we're moving on to Libra. I have to drink some of my mountain drink, and I think my chaga mushroom descended to the bottom. Libra, sun, rising, and moon. We are talking about Aquarius, Mercury retrograde in Aquarius. Come say hello to me. Uh-oh, my mouse just died. Oh, wait, Virgo, did I not pull a card for you? I'm so sorry. What a week I'm having. And that is right out of Eugene Levy's mouth. In Splash. Okay, Virgo. This is for you, Virgo, sun, rising, and moon. Get organized, be specific, let go of, and be analytical, but let go of judgments. That's pretty much what we're looking at. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay, so Virgo, symbolism, and very quickly what symbolism represents is you might have a friend of mine told me once that they read this book on nature spirits, a different one than what Christine was talking about, but how what they represented on a totem. And she had never really looked up the fox or the owl or whichever one it was. And then everywhere she went, that's what she saw. A sculpture in a window, the word on a poster, fox or owl or whichever one it was. So when you start looking to change something, Virgo, sun, rising, and moon, this also applies to everyone, but especially now that we're doing Virgo, sun, rising, and moon, symbolism shows when you're ready to see something on all levels. And you might call it a coincidence, but really what that is you have a need and the universe is providing evidence of your belief. So if you don't like what you believe and the symbolism comes to you, you can say, wait a second, did I just bring that to me? Am I that powerful? Yes and yes. Okay, now we're moving on to Libra, sun, rising, and moon, 5th house. This is fun. You guys get the fun one. And that is Aquarius. In the 5th house is, if you're single, it can mean a new exciting partner that you meet online and then decide to meet, in person somewhere. It can be, if you're in a relationship, it can mean more exciting exploration, space, the final frontier, with your partner. It can mean that you and a child collaborate on healing. Now, I know a Libra rising who has a child, like a young child, and needs a break. So I suggested that they go and do some energy work, and they did, and they feel better because they were going to throw the kid out the window. Not really. Not really. But, it gets to that point sometimes. If you're a parent, you understand, But, of course, they would never cause harm to their child. And that's why they called me. Aha! I was like, you're good. You're not alone. Okay, Libra, sun, rising, and moon. This can also mean a time of coming up with creative solutions or learning how to play. Maybe you forgot how. Maybe there's a child in your life that will show you. Maybe the child in you is ready to explore more. With Aquarius energy, you might be saying, I think I want to get a tarot reading or an astrology reading. Or I've never, I've always wanted to sing or play an instrument. This is the time to explore that. Libra, sun, rising, and moon. And you might be feeling shy about it, or you might be thinking, I am so ready to be more present. I'm so ready to be present and aware of some imbalances in my life. And the Aquarian vibe brings to you this feeling of, especially by mid-month, I'm going to let it go. I got to go write a song. I've never written one before. I feel like a fool, but who cares? Or I want to learn more about it. Suddenly you start reading books on, space technology or the science behind a computer. And you're like, well, this never interested me before, but wow, okay. Well, whatever. So what I'm saying is that sometimes things for all signs will come out of the blue during this Aquarius retrograde. Now, also Libra sun, rising, and moon with a Aquarius retrograde in the 5th house, you might need to reel in the extremes. Just saying. If you sleep with everybody you meet and then wonder at the end of the month, how come nobody wants to hang out with me? Or how come I can't seem to, hold on to a relationship? Or if you are, just look at the extremes. If you have kids and you are always telling them what to do, but never listening, now is when there's a coup. There's a coup. Or the opposite, if you're always accommodating everybody in your life, your romantic partner, your kids, your friends, everybody at work, suddenly you're going to grow a pair and go, hey, wait, no, this is about me now. So yeah, long line. So this growth factor comes with, as I just pulled a card, your awareness. Ooh, isn't that fun? So it's all about creating harmony, really. Libra, sun, rising, and moon, 5th house, but be creative while you're doing creating harmony through creative means. That'll be fun. You get the fun one. Okay, next, Scorpio, 4th house is all about your home life, your experience with family, and also the building, or it could be the surrounding. Maybe your neighbor is building something. And it's loud, or they never asked your opinion or permission for something. Scorpio, sun, rising, and moon, with the Aquarius being at home, I want to say that you are either about to emulate mom or the feminine parent if you came from a same-sex or single parent household. You're either about to emulate mom and you are, and it's not working for you or the family, or you need to because it was a positive thing, and you need to incorporate that behavior now into the family. So you want to think about what that means, what your feminine parent was like. And also, we're going back in the 4th house, it's also childhood and finding your power and where it might have been abusive, because Aquarius energy on the low vibe is it's like a robot. So it's someone who inflicted harm, pain, suffering, and had no feelings about it. It's almost like that disassociated experience. So if you have Scorpio, sun, rising, and moon, suffered from someone who was cold or abusive, now is when you see evidence of either that or the opposite in your life and how to rectify it. So if your family comes to you and says, Dad, Mom, Sister, I never knew you. Why? Oh, and you're thinking, I am who I am. How could you not know me? So there's a discrepancy between the two, right? So that's when you stop and say, okay, whatever I think I am is opposite of what I was outputting. So that's when you open your mouth, Scorpio, sun, rising, and moon, and you start to share. And you say, well, you don't blame, you don't judge. You just say, I thought it was different. This is who I am now, and this is what I like, dislike, believe, don't believe, la, la, la. And then you move along and start to repair these things in your family. Also, Scorpio, sun, rising, and moon, this is a good time to be at home during this retrograde. Just be at home, clean out the closets, just get under a blanket and get cozy and just be there for yourself, because ultimately it's about your inner identity. What do you want to do with that? How do you want to represent who you are to the world and to your family? It's never that quick. Who changes like that? I don't know. Okay, Scorpio. Well, you can, Scorpio, Sun, Rising, and Moon. This card is for you. Okay, we're coming back to it. The vibration. This is a green card, but on green screen it shows up gray and weird. Vibration, Scorpio, Sun, Rising, and Moon. Aquarius ultimately is about vibration, especially up and down the spine. So spinal massages or lymphatic massages or using a rebounder or a vibroplate, walking, just what is the vibration that you're feeling when you go from here to there, one thought to the next thought? Because whatever you're creating, and this is for everyone, whatever thoughts you're creating a stream of energy. That's very Aquarian. And if you don't like it, you got to get off that track and start a new stream with, wait, pause, cancel, hang on, slow the rowing of the trauma and move toward neutral territory, and then move from there toward positive. Always negative, neutral, positive, negative, neutral, positive, negative, neutral, positive. Okay, check. Sagittarii. We are talking about communication, and this is when you can be blown away by how you think, by what comes back to you via friends and siblings. By people saying, you just said one thing and did another. That's a little confusing. Sagittarius, Sun, Rising, and Moon. Or you're writing something. I know a Sag Rising who just finished a memoir. Wow, that's big. Now what? That's between them and their editor. What happens next? So whatever you're thinking, especially in a retrograde, is what's going to come out of you, but different parts of you. 95% of your unconscious self is running the show. That's for everyone. And 5% is the conscious part. So Sagittarius, Sun, Rising, and Moon, take that conscious part that says, I really want to express myself in this way and say this thing about this concept, and then see what comes back your way. And then turn the dial, alter the frequency again, because if what's coming out of you sounds snappish or cold or intrusive or judgmental, I'm just picking up the low stuff, which we all have, but so no judgment. But if someone says, hey, and then you get defensive, or you can realize that maybe it was your tone. Maybe you didn't hear what you said. Maybe you said it in the kindest, most compassionate way, but yet it was not received that way. So how do you reconcile that, Sag, Sun, Rising, and Moon? Well, first of all, you need to get clear on what your perceptions are and what your beliefs are. And here's a good clue for you, because it's all about vibration, folks, right? Especially with Aquarius, Mercury in retrograde. Sag, Sun, Rising, and Moon, when you suddenly are in an experience, in a conversation, and you feel something first, and then you open your mouth, let's back it up in reverse. You feel something, what's the feeling? The feeling is going to push the belief, the words, the concepts out of your mouth. So if it's a not great feeling, you need to be conscious about what you're saying, why you're saying it, and to whom. This is going to take a little bit of awareness and work for you, because sometimes you just, you go with the flow and you're fun and you're light and you slap somebody on the back and you go, yay, isn't that great? And they go, hey, I told you yesterday I had back surgery. Why are you slapping me? And it's like, oh, or whatever. But you see what I'm saying? It's like the rolling feeling is going to precede the need for action or vocalization. But are you sure? Why do you need to say that to someone who's not listening? Why do you need to say that to someone who's not listening? So I'm just going to ask, why would you need to say that to someone who's not listening? And then anytime we begin a sentence with why produces defense. That's true. So think about that. I said it to you. How did it feel? You're like, oh, do I? When? Well, huh? The defensive feeling. So you know what it feels like to be defensive, right? I just pulled a little side trick on you, Sag, sun, rising, and moon. But I wanted to prove a point that when you are thinking of saying something to someone, or you're thinking of, I believe this thing and I'm going to go do this thing because I believe this thing, but you get backlash, or you get sideways looks, or you get pushback from people. Okay, that's going to be the part that needs to come out so you can heal that. But then the positive part is what you do believe that is helpful and compassionate brings in more of that from others. So you're going to get validation. You're going to get opportunities come your way. But we went the long way around Sag, sun, rising, and moon, because sometimes there's for some Sag, sun, rising, and moon, there's an addiction to poverty consciousness. Like, oh, I better keep my stuff just in case. Or these are my ideas and I'm not going to let go of them just in case. Or I remember a Sag rising once saying to me that they were in a group and they met a woman and they really liked her scarf. And she said, the Sag rising said to the woman, wow, I really like that scarf. Something about the color. I think maybe a pinker color would look even prettier. That's a really great. And the person was indignant. How dare you talk to me like that? Or something like that. And they were dumbfounded. In their mind, they were giving a compliment. It was not received that way. But yet what it taught them was how sensitive they were to their own defensive nature. Makes sense? Does that make sense? So before you open your mouth, Sag, sun, rising, and moon, you want to know the reasons of the comment, the reasons for the belief. And then what comes your way is a whole lot of great information. If you've been researching something, oh, wow, you're going to find stuff through the cracks that other people have not been able to find. So if you're a researcher, if you're an editor, if you're a writer, if you're working in any kind of industry that is with people where you can see something they cannot, you'll have great info for them. All right, Sag, sun, rising, and moon, here's your card. Did I already pull one for you? I feel like I'm getting high on the reading. Gratitude, Sag. Just go with that one. It's such a pretty card. Just go with gratitude. I am grateful for fill in the blank. I am grateful for fill in the blank. And if you have this dire need and urgency to tell somebody, I am grateful for the ability to be different. I'm grateful for who I am. And then eventually the need to is mitigated. Okay, Capricorn, sun, rising, and moon. We are looking at house numero dos. And for you, does this make sense, by the way? I haven't even checked in. The retrograde goes through February 20th, add 10 days, 2 weeks for the shadow phase to be over. And what you can glean during this time for everyone is how to upgrade your own frequency. Really how to upgrade. Step up the game. So let me check in. I said I would and I didn't. Okay. Oh, Carlene, Sagittarius, sun and rising. Great things are coming your way. Make sure you're thinking the positives and redirecting the negatives to neutral territory. Okay, Capricorn, sun, rising, and moon, second house. First of all, this is about your self-worth. Your self-worth, and then third of all, it's about your self-worth. Also, your money, how you earn your income. Excuse me. Talking a lot. And with Aquarius there's going to be some new opportunities for technology to come into the picture. And then if you start something new in a retrograde, it's going to confuse you in a lot of ways when the retrograde's over. And then you're going to forget what you just learned, and then you're going to get frustrated. So, excuse me, Capricorn, sun, rising, and moon, what I highly recommend is that you like to research. You like to see, what is that? What is that? What does that mean? Where does that come from? You like to research stuff. So let's go researching on a couple of topics that give you joy or you find great amount of interest in. And then write down on a list all these things you'd like to explore at the end of February or in March. Just, take it in like, oh, what? Like my husband said to me, and I'm a Capricorn rising, he said, just go through some of the industry greats and pick out some websites that you really like, because we're going to be upgrading my website. I'm not going to implement in the retrograde, but I'm going to be picking out what do I really like. But instead of just doing it random search on the internet, first I'm going to get clear on the fact that I have a need and the universe will provide. And I trust that. That's my foundation, Capricorn, Sun, Rising, and Moon, that I'm going to get what I need. So that when I start my random Google or whatever kind of search I do, something's going to pop up that normally wouldn't in that thread. And it's going to look like actual targeted marketing. Magical. That's magical. So Capricorn, Sun, Rising, and Moon, I want you to get into the frame of mind to think about what is your self-worth like right now? Do you look in the mirror and you go, oh my God, my arms are so fat, or, I wish my teeth were straighter, or blah, blah, blah. That's the first line of defense, is going to be what you look like. And then the second one is, I'm tired. And I got 17 more things to do. And I gotta, it's like, are you a grandma, shopping for everybody at Walmart? This is not your job. It's like, why do you think you are responsible for everyone? Well, I could tell you why, because I'm a Capricorn rising, but you need to figure that out for yourself and go to that place of, it's not my job. Proudly. Without indignation, by the way. Capricorn, Sun, Rising, and Moon. Your self-worth is going to affect your income, if you have an income. Or it's going to affect the things that come your way that you can act on that give you joy. So the second house, technically in astrology, the general charts, deals with your financial income, your self-worth, but what you value. So Capricorn, Sun, Rising, and Moon, I want you to look at what you really value and go over that list of grievances that you have about yourself, with yourself, about life, and then just turn down the volume on that frequency. And then you're going to go to a different knob and you're going to turn up the volume on, oh, wow, this is a new astrology program. This is me talking. And it's been months. This is a new astrology program. It doesn't look like the other one. I can't use it. Where do I find the thing? I can't, and like I'm looking because I'm so used to this one that you're looking at. These people no longer have this program. If I upgrade my computer, this disappears. So this has been 8 months now. I am doing my best not to have a temper tantrum. So I'm looking at different astrology programs that are close to this program, that give me what I need, where I can find it and not have a freaking hissy fit every time I look for that. Like, well, how does it work? It's like, Elaine, you're on a learning curve, babe. New technology. You get with the program or you leave it behind. So knowing that you can do this is half of it. It's more than half. It's 98% of it. Capricorn, Sun, Rising, and Moon. But allowing yourself to be free. I just had a conversation not too long ago with, and my ears are ringing. So I'm getting something on you. Frasier. What was her name? The housekeeper? Hello, I'm getting something on you. Yeah, okay, went away. But I don't know. So anyway, what was I saying? I don't know. And I don't know why. I'm going to pull a card for you, Capricorn, and get back on track. Upping your frequency, upping your vibe, knowing you can do it. Knowing you can do it. And then relying on others and asking for help. Hey, I would like a tutorial service. Thank you. Seeing what your income looks like also and what you'd like it to look like. Oh, because everything comes from you. Whatever you put out into the world, it's coming from you. This is for everyone, not just Capricorn. Wouldn't that be? Capricorn, you're the reason this stuff's happening out. Oh my God. What a complex. Okay. Any hellos? No. Okay. Just checking in. Okay. Card for Cappy. So Capricorn, you have a learning curve coming up, and it can deal with your income. It can deal with technology and utilizing online services. I don't have my phone with me, but our credit union just upgraded their technology. So now I can take a picture of my check on my phone. Done. Pay somebody in Venmo. Done. Stuff like that. But you got to believe that you're going to get what you need, Capricorn, Sun, Rising, and Moon. And watch the opportunities come your way, especially through if you need medical assistance information, like you're upgrading something. I had a client who's an older client who was a Capricorn and needed to upgrade the hearing aids and also their bathroom to make it, really safe for them. So they did all the research and got all the stuff and, right? Stuff like that. Okay, Cappy. This is for you. Oh, we're coming back to it. Vibration. Especially you, Capricorn. Who got that one? Was it Sagittarius? Man, I mix these cards up like forever. Vibration, Capricorn. Noting the vibration that wants to bring you into a downward spiral, or into a place that says never enough, or into a place that says I can't do whatever. I can't learn it. I don't know it. I'm tired. That's where you got to go neutral and check your vibration and do something like I did the other day when the full moon hit. And I just had like a breakdown. And I was zipping around. I had to go there and it was snowing. And then I had to go there and it was raining and I had to go there. And I just came home and I was like, I'm done. I'm done doing. So you got to not overload. Okay. Check your vibe. Capricorn, Sun, Rising, and Moon. Moving on. Aquarius. Oh my gosh. This is all about you, baby. First house, Aquarius, Sun, Rising, and Moon. You are going to have such, this is why I'm getting head buzzes. It's for you. You're going to have such a profound awakening during this retrograde, Mercury in retrograde in Aquarius, January 30th, or it could have already happened, through February 20th, add 10 days to 14 days. And that means new vibrations are coming based on what you've been doing to alter your vibration. So you're going to see evidence. You personally, Aquarius, Sun, Rising, Moon, are going to see evidence of what you've been putting out consciously and unconsciously. So if something comes your way and you're like, whoa, why would they do that? Why did they say that? How come my boss did this? Or how come my coworker did that? And you're going to go, wait a minute. Well, didn't I say I wanted something to help me do this thing, but I wasn't expecting them? The unexpected is coming. So now, whatever happens with that, you might be thinking, I don't want it to change. That's the stubborn part of Aquarius energy. I don't want it to change. I don't want to upgrade. I just want to have a day. But then that exciting thing sinks in and you say, it doesn't, okay. It doesn't have to be so traumatic. It doesn't have to be so, I have to do it all. Capricorn echoing your best friend. It doesn't have to be that. It can be just like my husband had that experience. He's an Aquarius moon. And he was ready to slot all his business and work, and he can do it, but he came to his own conclusion. He's like, well, why? Why do I have to do that? And I guess you don't. He said, I'm going to go hire what's her name. I'm like, great. And what's her name? An Aquarian was looking for work. So she got her needs met too. Oh, it all works out. Aquarius, sun, rising, and moon. But the thing you want to recognize is, what are the detrimental self-sabotaging habits that you have? Like overworking, overstressing, over-calculating, overcompensating, overcommitting. I ran out of fingers. So what are the overs, the extras, especially when it comes to people and friends? Being in the first house, it is about you and your personality, but it's also because you're an Aquarian, sun, rising, or moon. It's about, how can I help those people? Like last minute, my husband and I are watching a movie last night, very good one called The Dig on Netflix. We loved it. It takes its time. It's slower, but it's beautiful. Anyway, so we're watching, and his phone goes ding, 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 ding. And he's like, who the heck is slacking me now? And I'm like, but who the heck is answering their phone in the middle of a movie at 8:00 at night? Boundaries. It's like, turn off the technology. Aquarius, sun, rising, and moon, or else you're always going to be on high vibe wire. It's going to be, oh, they need me. It's 9:00. I got to go do this thing. No, you don't. So turn off the technology at least 90 minutes before bedtime. Aquarius, sun, rising, and moon. It helps your whole body and your frequency to settle. It is proven that more than 90 minutes of television alone will shut down the brain. That's for anybody, not just Aquarius. So you need to calm it down. And this way your dreams are clearer. You have a better sense of who you are when you wake up, instead of, like, what's today? What am I supposed to do? And you go at a different pace. Yes, humanitarian, freedom fighter, go team go. But not at the sake of yourself. That's usually my line for Capricorn. Aquarius, there is enough of everything to go around. Pace it, organize it, delegate. Really dream big now, because now is when you put things into motion, Aquarius, sun, rising, and moon, that seeps into places that weren't listening prior. So if you have a product, if you're looking for work, if you have something personal you want to say to someone, now is when you get clear on what that is. It's not always necessarily the right time to say it in a Mercury retrograde, but that's when you get clear and you up your intuitive vibe. That's important. Does that make sense? All right, let's pull a card for you, Aquarius, sun, rising, and moon. Please take care of your body. Please take care of your body. Please take care of your body. Am I redundant? I hope this is helping you guys. Thumbs up, let me know, pass it, share it. If you're just tuning in, you can watch the replay here on my Facebook page. Eventually it will get uploaded to YouTube, I promise. All right. Aquarius. This is for you. And we come back to the beginning. The intensity. That's what it feels like with Mercury retrograde in your sign. It feels like you have a million things to do and no time to do it. But is that really the truth? You can change your perception. And the intensity does not have to be harmful. It can be, wow, that song was amazing. It can be that kind of intensity. Or, yeah, I'm motivated to work out now. It could be that kind of intensity, but don't overdo on anything. All right, Aquarius, I'm getting the vibe to go one more. These are sticking together. Aw, okay. Love. Self-love. Love is love. Pure conscious love. You are pure conscious love. Everybody, every sign. There's one sign. It's called you, us, we. That's the big sign. There is no 13th sign, by the way. Ophiuchus only shows itself 6 months out of the year, so yeah. The 13th sign is love. You heard it here first, folks. Pisces, we will never forget you, and you are never last. My hair is sticking to the mic. Deb, great show. Hey, thank you. Why, thank you. If you saw me yesterday, you'd be like, oh man, she needs a sedative. But sometimes, being who I am, I overdo like I'm going to try that new thing. And now I'm working with solfeggio frequencies. What are you saying to me? Solfeggio frequencies. And they work. I have all the tuning forks, and I've had them for 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 8 years. And I only dabbled, but now I took them out of the closet. I dusted them off and said, we are working together, you and me, kid. Let's go. And it's been great. It's just like, it takes frenetic energy. And once you do certain things and certain parts of the body, and you do these exercises with all the frequencies, there's coherency. So it's not like zzz, zzz. Amazing. Okay, Pisces, sun, rising, and moon. This is for you, my love. We are looking at the 12th house. Okay, now, this is a really good time, Pisces, sun, rising, and moon, to get it. Now, I'm getting two things. Two distinct directions. Now, both my parents were Pisces. They were not the same sign. They weren't. So maybe that's what I'm reading. I know another couple who are both Pisces, not at all alike. So I'm going to speak to the more sensitive Pisces right now first, sun, rising, and moon. And it almost feels like if you have a fear, now we'll use the topical and current events. Current events? I think I used that phrase in 3rd grade. Who brought something in for current events today? Well, I did. Wouldn't it be funny if I brought in like a map of the universe and said, one day I'm going to be an intuitive astrologer? No. Okay, Elaine, sit down. If you, Pisces, sun, rising, or moon, is afraid or has fear around COVID or viruses, I want you to pay attention to the fact that there were more cases of tuberculosis deaths 2 years ago than COVID cases in the past year. That this is not a political statement or channel, but what's being broadcast by people can be picked up by some people, and you're rendered helpless because you don't understand how viruses might work, or you don't and don't want to, or you feel that you're susceptible, because of your age group, or you have asthma. Totally valid. I'm not invalidating anything. But to elevate your level of consciousness and your awareness to Pisces, sun, rising, and moon, the more sensitive ones, to get better on track with who you are and your power, now is the time to meditate even more. And when you meditate, it's meant to create space. That's it. Meditation is about creating space. Here's a card I pulled for you sensitive guys. You are one. One frequency. And look at that. That's like 4th of July. It's beautiful, right? So if you're one frequency, Pisces, and you are pure conscious love, I do not assign a gender to frequency. So you might call it God. Some people call it goddess. I do not. I do neither. It is pure conscious love. That's what it is. That's what you are. So if you're starting to feel like, I can't go out of the house, I have to clean everything, and it becomes hyper, then the Aquarius, Mercury in retrograde, is going to draw your attention to the thoughts that help you spiral down and the ones that take you out of. But you have to be open to that. And you have to realize that you are the person that is creating the fear. Therefore, you have dominion over it. Does that make sense? Pisces, sun, rising, and moon, if you're the more sensitive type. And that abundance comes in all forms. So if you're having yeah, we're fine. Yeah, it's fine. I just don't go out, I leave everything in the mailbox for 2 weeks. I don't touch anything. I'm just using the COVID as an example. But if you have a different fear, like, my family's going to die and I'll be all alone, or I won't know how to make my money, or it doesn't matter what the fear is. The fact that it's going to be highlighted during this retrograde is what's key. And for you, Pisces, sun, rising, and moon, the more sensitive ones, I think it's important that you start focusing on relax. And the worst thing you could say to someone who's in a panic attack is relax. That's the word. It's like a clinical no-no. So you want to look at the moment that you go from happy or contented or joyful to plummeting into the black abyss of sadness and you're a victim. What is that moment? Put a magnifying glass over that moment, because Pisces, sun, rising, and moon, that moment is the part of your 95% unconscious that says, I'm going to sabotage you. You lived through trauma in your past. Let's just recreate that right now, because that's really what's real. And Pisces, whatever you deem reality is what's real. So, and I'm not saying this from, I'm just going to ignore the people who are getting sick, or the people who, have this thing, or I'm just going to ignore the fact that my bank account is dwindling and I don't have a pension. I'm not saying to hide your head in the sand. What I'm saying is to not react emotionally to it. There is a difference. And then, and I bless her, my mom, in the last year of her life, she would call me up and she'd go, guess what I just did? What, Mom? I was watching Dr. Phil, and they had these things called you with your hands, and you make things with your hands. And I'm like, make puppets? Like, what are you talking about? And she said, no, it's like the Indians. And I went, mudras? You're doing mudras? Total power. If you want some total power, you go here, and there's so many different hand signals you can do, mudras, and they create circuits of energy that then increase certain types of power in your body. So my mother, a Pisces at age 86, was doing mudras. And she was and then she called me up one day and she's like, you'd be so proud of me, because we had a power outage and I would check in on her, and I bought her a fan that ran on batteries just in case. And she's like, you'd be so proud of me. I started to panic when the power went out. And I put the fan on and I just did some deep breathing. I'm like, Mom, I'm so proud of you. That is amazing. And she was a Pisces. And so it's like you can be in the fear of something, but if you're not in immediate physical danger, you have absolute power. Absolutely. Not that I am wishing anything horrible or terrible or fearful to happen to you, Pisces, sun, rising, and moon, the sensitive ones. But if it regurgitates because the past comes back in a retrograde, remember, the planets aren't doing anything to you. This is our perception. This is who we are. And so it's a communal experience. Everyone's going to feel and think something differently, but moment to moment, it's like a rainbow color on an aluminum tree. Oh, the days of yore. So, make sense? Okay, Pisces, sun, rising, moon. Kim, scooping. Kim, we went to high school together. You were spot on for this Capricorn. Oh, honey. I'm so glad it helped you. Also, listen to your rising sign and your moon sign. And if you don't know your rising sign or your moon sign, you can get a free chart, not a reading, but a free chart. This is a chart. You can get a chart to show you your rising sign is what, well, you won't see my finger go there because if I do this, hang on. What sits on the eastern horizon is your rising sign. And then your moon sign right up here. There's your moon. So you can go to Astrology channel. Sorry, that was old. That was the past coming back. AstrologyMojo.com and scroll to the bottom, and you can get a free chart. And then you can come back on the show and tell me, oh, my rising sign is Sagittarius, or my moon is Pisces, whatever. All right, sensitive Pisces, does that make sense? All right, now we're going to go to the less sensitive Pisces, but still sensitive. And that can be, Pisces is represented by two fish swimming in opposite directions. And actually and where are we? Where's Pisces? There it is, up there at the corner. Cha-cha. Here we go. That's Pisces. Two fish swimming in opposite directions. And the line in the middle is what crosses them between heaven and earth. So some are more earthly and some are more spiritual. My dad was like, hey, I bought you some rose quartz crystals for your birthday. It's like, Dad? My mother was like, you didn't wash the dishes. I'm like, okay. So we know which one was earthly and which one was more spiritual. So let's put it that way. So the more earthly Pisces, sun, rising, and moon, this is going to really push you into a place of, again, we're looking at fear, but it is about what you cannot control. Just similar to the other, but you may not want to meditate. You may be going right to the doctor and saying, these are my symptoms. What happens next? I want to see the science behind it. Is there an article I can read? Something a little bit more proven. But what might happen, Pisces, more earthly Pisces, sun, rising, and moon, what might happen is that you are drawn into the spiritual realm, just like the more sensitive Pisces is drawn into the earthly realm. Like, let's get practical. Let's do a mudra. And you may have a vibrant dream. Pisces, sun, rising, and moon, who's more earthly. You may have a vibrant dream that you swear it's real, because it is. Okay, but I can't tell you that. You have to experience it. You don't have to do anything, actually. You can just hide away. And some of you might decide to hide away this February and just say, I'm just keeping my head down. I'm not talking to anybody. I'm just going to do what I do. And this card came flying out. Oh, perfect for you guys. Cause and effect. Cause and effect. Because you're going to want to experience cause and effect and experiment with cause and effect. If I think that I have power over my reality, then I'm going to will that person to call me. Okay, we cannot make anyone do anything. Practical Pisces, sun, rising, and moon. But what we can do is say, I really love my daughter-in-law, Jane, or I really love my kid, Billy. And you think about them with compassion and love. That frequency is a wave, and suddenly the phone rings the next day, or you get an email or FaceTime on the weekend and hey, Dad, Mom, just thinking about you. I'm like, hey, I was thinking about you too. Wow. Evidence, cause and effect. What is that? Does that make sense? All right. Also, let's throw in there your belief system. Yeah, because if you believe that there is an old white man with a long beard sitting on a cloud and pointing a finger at you and condemning you for things you have done in your past, like you cheated on somebody, or you drank too much, or you, what was her name? Kathy, stand up. Dean, are you listening? Kathy, she had a husband who was a Pisces, and she would give him money and money and money and money to start his own business. And then she found out later on that he just spent all the money and he was watching porn all day. Oh, she was devastated. It was horrific. So it's like the illusion is pulled away and you get to see the face of the real emotion, sabotage, situation. Pisces, sun, rising, and moon, the more practical ones. But then you see that there is magic involved. I remember doing a reading for a Pisces guy who worked on Wall Street. And he had a property, and I literally hadn't seen the property, but it was in another country or another part of the world. And I just saw it in my brain, and I drew a map of it, and I said, here's where you need to get some stuff done, and here's where there's a burial ground. And he was like, what the? How did you know that? I used to think I was crazy. Call me crazy. Cause and effect. All right, does that make sense? Let me see, we got everybody. I'll be back on Thursday, unless there's another, what is that? The 4th. I look at I have several calendars. The 4th, whoopsie. Yes, I'll be back 10:30 Arizona Mountain Time, or 9:30 Pacific, or 12:30 p.m. Eastern on February 4th. And we're going to talk more about some cool stuff that you can do during this retrograde and some techniques you might want to incorporate so at home. Easy stuff you can do. And you might have heard me talk about this in many previous shows, but we're going to bring it back in a retrograde. All right. Griffith? Yes, Kathy Griffin. Kathy Griffith. Yeah, one of those. Thank you. My progressed moon is in Pisces. Is this still valid? It's a different way of looking at it. Progressed moon, not really. You're going to take on the full embodiment of a Pisces in a progressed chart. Okay? Makes sense? All right. Hope this was helpful. And remember, folks, you have the ability to change anything because you're here. This is your spiritual playground on earth. Let me just get rid of that. You chose to come here at this time to be who you are and to see what it's like to feel so deeply, to touch, have sensation, and to awaken your spiritual senses, which is who you really are outside this body. Because it doesn't end. It never ends. It just changes shape. So, here's to the shape of things to come, and I will see you on Thursday. Have a beautiful week. As always, I wish you peace.